My name is Damon Dominique. I am a travel YouTuber, and my ethnicity would be white slash American slash, if you really want to like narrow it down 200 years ago, it would be French and German.
Oh, nice. Actually, I don't think I knew that.
Oh, and sorry, I was already going to go on a huge tangent. You ready for it?
Yeah.
I think it's interesting that I dive more into my French side when my French side is only my father's side. I mean, this is not just me, there's most people. You prioritize the male side because that's typically the male. The woman takes the male's name. So here I am thinking, oh my God, I'm so French. Dominique is such a French name, when it's like, well, actually, my name could have been Harter, which is very German. And if that were the case, then I would have felt more German all my life.
That's so funny. Because all those Baltic states that we're in, everybody was saying the mother language, they take more of their mother's language and heritage and background.
You're saying they take
the mom side. So
love that.
Yeah.
I mean, not that I love it. It's just, I just wish it were more of a balance. Because they're probably just looking at their mom's side then. And then it's like, well, what about the dad?
Yeah.
I just feel like we should be looking into both.
Yeah.
And I am a prime example of how I'm living in Paris. Like I should be looking into my German side and my British side as well.
So it was your background of French side and your father's French heritage that made you live in Paris and want to delve more into it?
I think so. Yeah, because like growing up, I was like, oh, Dominique, that's such a French name. I mean, it's a French first name.
Yeah.
In fact, here people think that they're so confused.
Are they?
Because they hear a little bit of my accent, like an American accent in French, and they'll be like, no, I think you mean your first name is Dominique. I'm like, no, my first name is Damon and my last name is Dominique. Because they think I'm just messing up in the French, like in speaking French. No, because in French, they'll be like, oh, what's your last name? And I'll say Dominique. And they'll be like, no, that's your first name. What's your last name? I'm like, no, I understood your French. My first name is Damon. My last name is Dominique. Anyways.
Being here, do you feel like your Americanness is very obvious? Do you feel like actually ethnically American?
Yeah, I think being outside the United States is when I feel most American.
Yeah.
Like Lady Liberty herself.
I'm dead.
Like the parts of my identity that are American are definitely highlighted. Like I feel like I am a friendly guy. I feel like I'm down to talk to strangers. I feel like if I find a joke funny, I'm gonna let the cackle out. Like there are some things that are just also like my humor. I feel like it can be very sitcom-y, like Friends, which is super American. Yeah, if I'm ever in a club, like I'm always somebody who goes up to big groups of people, and that's a very American thing to do. I feel like
I don't realize that because I obviously I do that all the time, but I just think it's normal to do that. But I think it was in when we're in Finland, and that people are like, you're being very American by just like walking up and talking to random groups of people. It's just like not normal.
That's the main thing here in France. They make their friends in high school, and then they really like those are ride or die friends, like for life, like lifers, like. And it's hard to break into a French friend group. But I think that's something worth mentioning. Like moving to Paris, you could replace Paris with any other city. And my goal is not to only be friends with French people because I'm in France. In the same way that my goal in the United States is not to be friends with only American people. I want my friend group to be international.
Yeah.
So when I'm here in Paris, like, of course I want French friends. I love their culture. Like I appreciate it. That's why I'm here. But my goal isn't to only be with French people, because then that's just going to create the same thing that I wanted to leave in the States, which was I'm only surrounded by the same kind of person. So if I come here and I'm only friends with French people, then again, I'm like, I'm doing the same thing just with a different nationality.
I love that.
So yeah, I'm trying to have an international group of friends. That's why I'm officially moving to Dubai. I'm kidding.
Because I know you've always talked about just obviously moving around, traveling, and putting yourself intentionally kind of like uncomfortable positions and making yourself adapt. Is that something you sought out to do? Because America can be just so comfortable for Americans, regardless of your race or background. It's just
I don't know. I don't even call it a comfort zone, really. I just like think it's an interesting thing to do. Like living a comfortable life is one thing, but I don't know why I'm thinking about this, but I feel like when I was in high school, there was a question that was asked, which was, would you prefer a comfortable life? Your vibrate, I'm telling you right now, like is stronger than most people's vibrates. Because
he's talking about my phone. He's talking about my phone.
Can I tell the app?
Yeah, sure. The app that's vibrating right now is called Outlook.
Oh, okay. Because that's not the app I thought. Because that app, which rhymes with Rinder, I swear, like you purposely leave it on so everybody knows people are texting you.
Let me put it on sleep.
No, so Oh, adapting. Okay. So I remember one time I was in high school, there was a question that was asked, which was, would you prefer a life of excitement or a life of comfort? And I was like, life of excitement, which is not the answer for everybody.
Yeah.
And so I guess in one way, you could call it like constantly trying to be out of your comfort zone. I'm not even trying to be out of my, I want to be comfortable. Just, I want to live an exciting life in a comfortable way. Like I want both.
I really like that because, you know, some people would probably look at you and like, obviously not knowing, it's like, oh, you know, white kid from America, he got up and did his thing and left to, you know, feel different or feel, you know, feel unique versus like, this is just exciting. It's like, I'm leaving a hometown. It's like somebody who left like the south of France and maybe moved to Paris or moved to like Germany. Maybe it's just exciting. And
it's just exciting.
Yeah. It's not you're trying like try hard to be unique or try hard to do anything. You're just
no, like even this morning, like we step out, we go to the grocery store, even these like mundane tasks back home somehow become more interesting. You were in the grocery store, what were you taking a picture of?
Well, I was taking a picture of a Jamaican brand, or I guess a known Caribbean brand here, but then also, what?
Yeah, trying to work your way around it with the words. It was like twink nuts or something.
I forgot about her.
That's why I'm like, you probably can't say that, but I mean, you can. It's your podcast. Yeah, all I mean is like running errands in a foreign country somehow becomes more exciting. So basically, I just feel like my life is more like worth living, actually. It's more exciting outside of the States. Like,
Well, yeah.
even going to the post office, I'm like, this is now an adventure. Whereas back home, I'm like, oh, it's just another errand I got to run. Now it's in French. And I got to argue with them in French.
Do you ever think of like, if anybody here thinks the same thing, or do you think they know that like being French, being European probably has like a different gravitas or a different experience than just being American?
This is your corporate coming out. What the fuck gravitas? What is that?
Like it has more impact to be like, I'm French, so like I'm doing local French things.
French people are definitely not having the same experience I'm having in a French supermarket. You know, like, but if they go to the States, they're just as fascinated. So it's not a me thing. It's like a just living. I mean, we just got done going to Lithuania, Latvia. Everywhere we look, there's like something interesting or like a word that is just normal in their language that now is somehow funny because it sounds like a word in English, but it has no relation.
See?
See? Hissies? I think that, what does that mean?
The elevator?
It was on the elevators. Maybe up and down.
It's something, yeah. Or the trick and drag.
Trick and drag.
Right.
Drag the trick.
Drag
like
trick.
Push and pull.
Yeah. No, and that's great because you come from a smaller town in America, which a lot of people do. And I think it goes back to what you said. Like some people are comfortable, and there's nothing wrong with being comfortable in that. They love their life, but some people want excitement, and you can go find that in a Piggly Wiggly in Indiana.
No, it was very clear. Like from a young age, I like made it very clear to my family, like, you guys, I'm out of here in a few years. You know this, right? Like I'm leaving. I think there's something interesting there too about your family size, because I'm from a big. This isn't really relating to ethnicity at all, but like, or maybe it is. Some ethnicities have huge families.
You say you have a big family, but I mean, we can go numbers to numbers on mine one day.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, the fact that my family is humongous and I have so many cousins whose names I don't even know, like, it allows me to now travel and not feel like I'm making my family feel lonely during the holidays, because they'll have the party and it's not like it's not like they really notice that I'm gone because there's 500 people there. Not 500. You know what I'm saying? So as opposed to it just being like my mom and my sister. Now there, I would feel like, damn, I should really be home. And so I'm just saying it's a pro to having coming from a big family. And not everyone has that.
That does go to the question I haven't asked yet. How do you define ethnicity? Where some people say it's the food, some people say it's the history and the travesties of their people. Some people say it's just their family. So I'm interested to hear how you think of it.
I guess like if I'm going to relate to anything, it would be the United. This is what's interesting because we both grew up in the United States. But when you ask that question, for me, I'm thinking of I'm an American. Your parents are both Jamaican, right?
My mom was technically born in America, raised by Jamaicans in Jamaica. Yeah, so.
Wait, she was raised in Jamaica?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't know that. And then your dad's from Jamaica. Like,
have you heard him talk? Sammy is Jamaican.
Yes, Sammy. I know. I love his accent every time. Why don't you speak with the accent a little bit more?
Who?
You?
Girl.
Come on.
I'll do it at the end of this. I'll surprise you.
Okay, so, but I feel like when someone asks you that question, you're like, Jamaica. Like you.
Wow, that happened.
What's wrong with it? I love it.
It's great.
For you, it's Jamaican culture. It's Jamaican food. It's Jamaican everything. Jamaican music. Yeah. We were just in the supermarket and you're like, ah.
And oh shit, Bob Marley was playing too when we walked in.
Like those are the things that you're noticing, but we both grew up in the States. Whereas I'm not having that experience. I'm just like, I'm straight up from America. Right. It's not true exactly, but it's just that my, I guess, ancestors aren't so like first or second generation. Mine were from 1836. I actually looked it up and went to the town my ancestors were from, actually.
In France?
In France, yeah.
Nice.
This dude don't be watching none of my videos.
You know I knew it already. I just got to make other people think I'm interested.
It was an amazing video.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you do come to Fort Wayne for the first time, we have one of the largest genealogy libraries in the country.
Word?
Uh-huh. So I was able to look up, and they have people there to help you. So I looked up like where they came through. They went through New Orleans. Like it was really cool. And I found the town and I went. It's only 2 hours away. And then it was wild because I went there and everyone looked like my grandpa. And everyone looked like my grandpa. So it was cool. I was able to go to like the plot of land that they left, and it was all tracked.
That is actually really interesting. All right.
All I'm trying to say though is like, so my ancestors are from 200 years ago, and that's just the French side. So the German side was probably 200 years ago as well. So at this point, everyone in my family, like, we're just American.
But then, so yes, I obviously see the Jamaican things because that is a little more pronounced. But like American, like we hear it, you see it everywhere. McDonald's, there's like Miley Cyrus playing when you go into like restaurants or stores. Like, does that ever stand out to you as like, oh, this is like my home culture when you travel? She said they'll call that my culture.
No, it's a good question though, because it does come from the States. So why wouldn't I consider it? Why wouldn't that be? No, it's just like such international music at this point. But that's not even specifically.
You think so?
Yes. Everyone is going to know Miley Cyrus's name.
But no, like our number one export is our culture. So
you're saying like when I'm outside of the States, what reminds me of the States, or?
Yeah, like what do you see this as like, oh shit, like I'm American, or like that's American. Like not that you have pride in it, because I don't have pride in seeing McDonald's or hearing like generic pop music playing when I go to different countries. But it's like, damn, that's American.
What I really like about the States that I guess it's not like super specific to the States. It's just like, say you're standing in line at Target, there will be small talk. It's small talk with people in line, but like no one's afraid of talking to strangers really. I just feel like that's not a huge thing here. Like, and maybe this is more of a city thing versus country thing, but like here in Paris, I've lived here for how many years? I've never, ever met my neighbors. Whereas like in Indiana, you would always know your neighbors. Even in New York, I knew my neighbors. LA, I knew my neighbors.
Fort Lauderdale, I knew my neighbors.
Right. I'm like, I literally, actually, some guy came to deliver something and he knocked on my door. He's like, hi, I think his name is Bertrand. I literally don't remember him. Hi, does Bertrand live here? And I'm like, no. He's like, oh, could you tell me where he lives? I'm like, no idea. He's like, what about the guy who lives here? I'm like, nope.
Couldn't tell you.
No idea.
That is wild.
So just like the interacting with people when you don't have to, I guess that's the thing.
Yeah, I've heard that people say it can be fake and surface level. It's not meaningful. Some people find that annoying or intrusive, but.
Well, or for example, when we were just in Finland. You and I went to the club and like, look, we're really good friends, but we still were like there to meet other people. Like we're just the more the merrier. That's the attitude we always have. But didn't you get the vibe that there, like no one else kind of had that mentality? So I feel that's a similar thing in Europe in general. Like people go out with their friends and like they're there to be with their friends. Yeah. We were there to be with our friends, but with each other and with other people. We're not doing it to get rid of each other. We're just like, why not add more energy to this group?
Yeah, I never thought of that as something being distinctly American, which I know.
I think it is. Yeah. I say it because I went out on this date with this guy once here. And it was like date 3 at this point, and we go to this club, and then he said, oh, why do you always feel the need to talk to other people like in a social setting like this? And I'm like, oh, the more the merrier. I want to just meet other people. He's like, yeah, but aren't you good just here with me? And I was like, you might be onto something. Damn it. But also, I don't know, I think both things can be true. Like, yeah, I'm good with you. I guess in the American point of view, me going to talk to other people isn't taking away from what I have with this person I already have a relationship with. It's like, it can be, we can all be here together.
I'm just thinking about it now, but I think it shows, at least for me, that person is sociable. They know how to interact with other people. Like, it's almost a positive. Like, you can be, gracious and talk to other people while also paying attention to me. I think that's how I see it as a positive. Otherwise,
adaptable.
Girl, look at you using words.
My gravitas.
My gravitas is adaptable.
Yeah, like I think my ex said this to me once. He's like, you know what? I think adaptability is a sign of intelligence. I was like, you might be. That's the one thing I love about living here. They be saying the smartest things so casually. Like, let's think about that one for a little bit. Adaptability is a sign of intelligence. It is.
It is.
How you could go to any environment and be able to fit in because you understand the vibe.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently we don't understand the vibe because people are noticing us trying to always like meet new friends.
Yeah, fair. Or they don't understand what you're trying to achieve.
Or they don't understand what we consider intelligence.
And it can also go back to what you said earlier about like the people who want the comfortable life, like I'm comfortable with just you and me, or the people that want something exciting and new. And I think adaptability is on that exciting side of things. And it does require both emotional intelligence and other cues too. Like you have to know about where you're going, what these people do, what they don't do. Like,
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that is a good, nice tie-in.
Kind of goes into the next question of like, do you think now living abroad for so long and traveling and making that your actual career and passion, has that changed your view on ethnicity as a whole and or how you culturally identify?
So the thing that most Europeans, I use Europeans because this is where I've spent like a lot of my time. And also a lot of my time as an adult. Like I studied abroad here. Then I had the relationship for 6 years. So I was always here. Then I moved here like 6-7 years. I've been here for like 7 years, something like that. So I really feel like my time as an adult has been spent either in Europe or just outside of the States. Why was I saying that? Oh, and the one thing that Europeans will say is that Americans are always talking about race. And I always thought it was interesting and also like not my place to talk about it.
So I just don't understand why you want to keep denying me the time to talk about being Black, Damon.
That's my goal in life. That's my goal in life.
To make me shut up.
To make you shut up. No, yeah. They would always say that. And I would always be like, what are you talking about? Like, no, and it's for the benefit of everyone, the greater good. And I don't know, now that I've been here, I see what they mean. Like, we do always talk about race.
We do. You will probably be one of the only, outside of Misako, but like one of the only Americans I talk to, because what I do love is that everybody I've spoken to so far when they talk about ethnicity, it is family, food, history, region, geography, the way the fucking wind blows versus I'm Black or you're white
or the disagreements between everybody.
Yes, which it plays a huge part in, and it will come, but it probably makes you realize like we do talk a lot about race. You can finish your thought on that, but if like the race relations of people here feels different than America.
Well, I mean, I've traveled a lot by myself, and I've traveled a lot with my friends. And I've seen someone ask you if you're from South Africa. I saw that.
Ask me if I'm from South Africa. Ask me if I'm going to Nigeria. And somebody did something else crazy.
Always.
All the time. It's something, yeah.
I will say, like, when I'm in Latin America, I'll get a little bit of it. They'll call me, like, Blanquito, or when I went to Kenya, it was, like, funny that I was white. Like, you get the other side of it, but it's more of, like, haha, I'm laughing at you. Not like I'm ready to discriminate against you. So it does feel like, okay, you're kind of the butt of the joke, but it's still kind of in good fun. Like when I went to Kenya and I went to all these schools, everyone just thought it was hilarious that I was white and they would call me Mzungu, Mzungu. Like as if that's what I would answer to.
Did you answer to it?
Of course I did. Of course. No, and that's kind of what I like about our friendship that, okay, actually, let's take this back to the States versus Europe. I feel like in the States, when you say the word race, there's like, it's a scary word. It's like, there's tension and like, you don't want to say the wrong thing. And then anywhere outside the States, they're like, okay, so you're Black, I'm white. And like, was that the whole point? Like,
right. No, you're right. And that's why I think I love when traveling with you, because you're white and you have the privilege.
The privilege card?
Yeah, the privilege card.
No, there was a literal card we saw that was like privilege card. It was some like loyalty card. Yeah. They called it the privilege card. No, but that's what I mean. It's like, we don't need to shy away from it. It's like a funny thing.
It is, but it makes it easier to travel because it's like, I can leave a little bit of that behind because I don't have to hear or think about it so much. And you just don't care as well too. And if something were to happen, you're also an ally, of course. But it's just good that you bring a perspective, because if I were to travel with another American, be them Black or white, everything would have been like, that's racist or overcompensating for it, I'm sure. But in those real moments when things happen, and it's not like discrimination, even though it does happen, it was more of just like, the fuck is he? Why is he asking if you're South African?
No, I just think it's funny from his point of view, as if like South Africa's the only country with black people. Like he could have said 199 countries out there, like
Right.
with that logic.
But also like,
Why would you be from South Africa? Like what?
I don't know.
Maybe you were wearing something that was very South African. You just don't
I
know
wear
it.
all black every day. Yeah, no, I think that's like, ugh. I don't know how to delve into that one actually on this. It's just like Americans and our identity of ethnicity just really, it's based in race. And that's like, anyways.
No, I'm just thinking like, is this true or not? I don't know if this is true or not, so maybe delete this part. But in the States, I feel like maybe we just aren't smart enough on the topic. But if people, why are you looking at me like that?
No, because you said you're about to say something real true.
But I feel like for us over there, these generalizations. For those people who I'm friends with. Okay, no. I'm just saying like in the States, we would just kind of classify everyone as like, okay, you're white, you're Asian, you're black, you're Latino, boom. And this is where I'm like, I don't know if this is exactly true, but if you come to France, they're not just going to be like, okay, you're black, you're white, you're whatever, Arab. They're going to say like, you're from Algeria, you are from Senegal. Like it's more specific. They're not just going to be like, okay, you are Latino. They're going to be like, you're from Colombia. I don't know. Don't you feel like that?
I think, and you're correct, because you said in the beginning too, like your family 200 years ago were French and were German, but now they are American, where my family is Jamaican, but I am pretty much American. Yeah. But I think also what you said, a few other people said it too. They say I was born in Latvia, but I'm Russian, or my family is Russian, but we're here in Lithuania. Where, going back to your point, I think in America, we have no choice but we have a choice, but we choose to identify by race, because you can't say you're French. Because if you were to ask the Harders or the Dominiques in Indiana anything, they wouldn't know anything about France or Germany. They know everything about where they're from. So
that's super valid. There we go. Close that loop.
Period.
Boom.
I'll chop that up to make sure we don't both sound ignorant.
I think you should leave it all in.
Yeah. Okay, so who you are, how you identify.
Okay.
Gay. Actually, we should talk about that. As a gay American, gay French, do you notice any difference in like...
No.
Do you feel like...
Honestly, this is also thanks to my ex. I always go on these podcasts and just only talk about my ex. I don't know why that's so funny.
He is like a linchpin of like, content and creation for you.
He's just taught me so much, honestly. He would always say, like when someone would be like, oh, are you gay? He'd be like, why is it even a question? That is the least interesting thing about me. Like, yes, I'm gay, but also like I like tennis and I like philosophy and I'm a vegan. Like, I don't know. It's like not, I feel like in the States, if somebody's gay, that automatically becomes, that's my gay friend. You could have said that's my friend who's into graphic design. I don't know. It just becomes like the all-encompassing adjective when it's like, I don't know. Reducing, is that the word? Like, I don't want to just be reduced to being gay. Like, obviously I am, but...
You lucky you're not black, because I always get black first. I'm the black gay friend.
Yeah. Again, this is a generalization, but I don't know. He just made me look at sexuality in a different way. Like, oh, you're right. I don't have to be so gay all the time. I mean, I am all the time. But like, you know what I mean?
But yeah, it's not your identity.
Like it is, but it isn't all of it.
Right. It is
like I'm not even thinking about it until I have to.
Until that app starts, your phone starts buzzing. No, that's very interesting too, because some people just choose that to be the bigger part of their personality versus,
which is fine,
or not
because
choose, it just
they're
is.
more interested in it. Like they're allowed to dive into that, but it's just that for everyone, I don't know. I think that they think that just because someone's gay now, that's the first adjective that they have to like, that has to be highlighted about them, which it should be for some people because they dedicate their lives to activism and stuff. That's fair, but not for everybody. I don't know.
Do you notice that here in France, was it just a Salal thing?
Yeah, I think it'd be the same here about sexuality. I don't know. I don't think there's much that's like different. Although every time I've been called a slur or or attempted mugging and all that, it has been here.
No way, really?
Yeah.
Wow, for being white? Mazunga, what?
Thank you for bringing it up. I was having a hard time talking about it.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
But it's funny. I always make a joke because I'm like, I've learned all the gay slurs in French because people have called me that.
Oh my God. I'm
So I'll be
sorry.
like, oh, what's that mean? But I ask my friends. But it's also, this is what I like about learning languages and in linguistics, because you learn to like detach from words themselves. Because you think about the etymology, where it came from, and you're just like, that's literally just a word. Like, these are just letters and sounds, beeps and bops put together. So you can call me whatever you want. I don't care.
I do love that's actually a very empowering way of looking at it.
Yeah. like it's the intention behind the word, obviously. And words have meaning. Like, that's why we say them. But it's just like, we don't have to attach so much importance to them.
Right. All right.
The podcast of all podcasts.
Honestly,
Talking about all the topics.
Yeah.
How did the other podcasts end?
Some of them just trailed off. Some of them,
Like, I edited them down so they did end.
And this is also how I end it too. It's like anything through your work, through travel, through your content, that you would hope people would be able to like expand their minds on ethnicity or just people in general. Is there anything you want people to take away from your content? Because I feel like the impetus.
Oh God. Start Googling what that one means.
Channel was based on understanding your own ethnicity.
I'm literally Googling
people to like inspire them.
The force or energy with which a body moves, or that something something that makes a catalyst.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So what?
What, like anything you want people to take away from your content? Because the main reason you started it was to understand more of your own background.
Totally.
Yeah.
So I've always been into philosophy, and I've always been into travel, and for so long I thought that those two things were different, and actually I feel like they're one and the same. Like, travel is just like an outward expression of your curiosity. You want to go and travel and explore the world. Philosophy is just the same thing, but you're exploring the mind. Both are like based in curiosity. I'm just like, I have so many questions all the time. And so I hope that when people watch my content, they're getting more curious about themselves and the world that they live in. And that they also realize that all of their thoughts so far have been like based in a context, which is not only their ethnicity, but their sexuality and their nationality. And primarily the nationality. The culture we grew up in teaches us so much about who we're going to be. Whereas if you were born where I was born, and I was born where you were born, I would be Paul and you would be Damon. It's just like, I think our environment teaches us so much about our cultural values and morals. And again, that's like what the book's all about. So what I hope people learn from my stuff is that everything they know so far was just based on their own experience. So if they can travel and get out there and learn about other experiences, then maybe they can curate the identity for themselves instead of just taking on the one that they were given by birth, born into a nationality, born into an ethnicity. You know, you can do what you want, is what I'm trying to say.
Honestly and truly. I mean, part of this was the book that helped to start like being accidentally ethnic. I mean, like you said, people are just born where they're born. And like you said, if I was born in Fort Wayne, you were born in Manhattan, moved to Alpharetta, you'd be here, I'd be there.
That's accidental. I like that. I like how you tied my point into the accidentally ethnic. Boom.
I mean, but you don't think you're an inspiration for this, girl? Come on now.
Oh my God. Can we end this now?
Oh, she gets uncomfortable.
This is the part where I can't take compliments. I don't know how to do that.
Anyways.
Wait, did I actually? Is this even on?
Just to push a button on the two buttons, push one at the bottom.
Oh, it is on. Sorry.
She makes content for a living, y'all. She
I don't know how to use
been doing this for years and years.
Oh my, literally, that scared me.
Thank you so much, Damon Dominique, for being on this podcast. Now, anything else you want to say? No,
good luck. All you've seen me make my videos. All it takes is just doing it over and over and over, deleting what doesn't sound good and keeping in what does, and quitting your job.
On that note, I'm returning to work tomorrow on the show.